and I merely lightly sanded them and finished them with a waterproof varnish or waterproof polyurethane. These are primarily going to be used for clothing storage for myself and Sharon when we're on our trips. But while we're not using the bed, we keep our bed clothes up here too, pillows and that sort of thing. I've got an LED light underneath of the cabinets, so it can act as a reading light or an ambiance light in the evening when you don't want to have the overhead light on. Now, the overhead light in the trailer is not an LED, but it's the only thing that was, it was the original light from the trailer when it was a cargo trailer. The ceilings in here are actually made up of 1/4-inch plywood underlayment that was only about $13 a sheet, but it had such beautiful grain in it. Once I got it up, I decided I would varnish it. Originally, I was going to just paint it white. So it looks good. All right, the bed. Like I said, the bed is typical staggered slats. You lift the seat cushion up, pull it forward, slide the cushion out, back cushion folds down. Now the foam panels were originally each 24 inches, so in order to make it feasible to have a low back like this, I cut 6 inches off of the one panel and taped it onto the other one before I built the cushions. The windows I bought from eBay, they are new windows rather than purchase used. Sharon's granddaughter made the curtains in the trailer out of a piece of fabric that we purchased at the Joann Fabrics. And we didn't originally have these baskets in here, but the utensil drawer was starting to get full with all the little miscellaneous stuff, and I decided to add these for someplace else to put it so we could keep that drawer from getting too clogged up. It also is an opportunity to organize things kind of by usage, so I don't, in my advanced age, take 45 minutes to remember where I put something. All right, one of the things that we've recently purchased is this folding table, and I like this idea better than doing a drop down, fold down off the sidewall, because I can move this around in the room depending on what we're doing in here, and it'll have various functions, whether we're going to be eating at it, working, or using it as a side table when preparing food in the kitchen area. The bin underneath of the table is used primarily for the storage of bedspreads and sheets, and also some furniture pads and things so that we can have bedding for Honey when she's camping with us. But that is also a nice height. It functions kind of as a coffee table when we're sitting on the couch watching TV or just having conversation or drinks in the evening. The kitchen area is something that I had envisioned for a long time if I were ever going to do one of these cargo conversions. I wanted to have a sink with hot and cold water, and we do have a water heater in the rear of the trailer. I've got a refrigerator and a freezer with separate doors. And this looks a little rustic, but it's merely here to keep the microwave from sliding around when the trailer is being transported. Once we arrive at the site, that comes off and goes away, because the microwave is not going to move anywhere. I've also got a television up here and a television antenna, and I just purchased a through wall jack to be able to put the antenna outside the trailer to get better reception, and it's a waterproof outside cable outlet that I can hook up. We've got drawer storage and doors, cabinets up above. I've put pressure latches on these things so they want to stay tight, but I also use these bungee cords when we're traveling and just merely wrap them around the knobs on the cabinets here. The one remaining issue that we're having trouble with is this drawer sliding out. So I think I'm going to get a latch of some sort to put on this drawer that I can secure it when we're moving. Underneath the sink, the drain drains through the floor to the outside. We also have a 5-gallon bucket here with a toilet seat to use as a toilet. There's also a propane heater stored in here for when we're not on electric. And over in this area are right now all the pots and pans, but I'm eventually going to move those back into the kitchen in the rear because I think we're going to cook back there more often than in here. One of the nice things about this kitchen is we're versatile, whether we're on grid or off grid. I've got an electric hot plate here, and we got an electric coffee maker, but I also have a 2-burner propane stove that I can bring in here and heat water for coffee if I need to. I don't like to cook indoors if I'm making something. As I mentioned earlier in a video, this drawer was getting too cluttered, the utensil drawer, and that was the purpose for installing some of these other baskets on the sidewalls of the trailer. Now it's easy to maintain it and get it whatever I'm looking for without having to push stuff around. In these upper cabinets and the lower cabinets, I went and bought some cheap battery operated lights from Five Below because sometimes in the evenings it's a little dark to see what you're looking for in here. So each of these cabinets has an interior light that I can use when I really feel I need it. This drawer has a catch on it too, like the other cabinets do, and it still wasn't sufficient to keep that drawer closed when we're traveling with all the weight. Now that I've got all that excess stunk out of there, we may be all right. These shelves are something that I purchased after we used the trailer a couple times because it allows, I think, for more efficient use of the space to keep things organized, and it allows us to store a little bit more in these cabinets than what we were previously. We've got the little baskets on the side that we picked up in one of the home decor stores. They just screw on the wall, but these are for odds and ends that we don't really want to put away, that we want to have access to. There's extra bags in there for the dog for her leash, and there's a pair of lights in here that I'm going to put into the rear kitchen of the trailer. We've got our 30 amp plugs for hook up in the utilities. There's Bluetooth speaker, extra dish towel, and insect repellent. And those are all the little odds and ends that you want to have where they're handy. Okay, this is what's typically called the garage of the trailer. In the back, we have the rear of the air conditioner. I've got a cabinet above, again with friction latches on it so that it stays closed, that we keep paper cups and paper plates back here for cooking. I put a shelf in here. Now where I'm parked right now, the ground behind the trailer is high, but on a normal site, the grade would be such that this is actually going to be a countertop height when I'm parked on a campsite. This is our fold-up mat for on the side of the trailer. I've got a little bit of tool storage here. I have a tarp that attaches like an awning on the side of the trailer, and these are the poles that hold the outer side of it up. We've got our rack for spices and coffee and sugar. And here I have a propane water heater that will heat water for the sink, and we also have an outdoor shower. I still have some modifications to do here to keep these doors supported at 90 degrees and allow for the hanging of a shower curtain. I've got a battery operated 12 volt electric pump here so that if we're off grid we can switch over and hook the pump up to the water connection and pump from water storage tanks underneath. Below I have a 12 volt battery which is connected to the lighting inside. All the lighting in the trailer is 12 volt, and the porch light for the trailer is 12 volt. But I also have a electric inverter that I can use here, hook up to the battery, and in a pinch we can use our electric coffee maker or a hot plate to cook with using battery power converted to 110 volt. There are several storage totes in here right now. I'm toying with the idea of building one larger slide out bin, but for the time being these are adequate for holding all of our kitchen appliances. There's one in the back that is mostly camping tools and accessories. And this is a lot of our kitchen. Oh, and then we have what is normally an over-the-door shoe storage bag. I cut the bottom off of it and put it inside the trailer in one of the base cabinets inside the door. And these pockets now will get filled up with all the other little things that we decide to add as we go along, so that I don't have to keep trying to create new space. All right, on the roof of the trailer, since we quite often take our canoe or kayaks along with us, I added a rack space up here. It's strictly built out of 2x4s and some off-the-shelf framing hardware that you can buy in Home Depot or Lowe's. And I've wrapped everything with waterproof materials so that the 2x4s don't get soaked and swell up or start to rot. And there are little D-rings up there to attach web straps on. The trailer's a little high, so when we are hauling boats on the roof, we're going to have to bring one of our step ladders along with us. And there's space in behind the shelf in the rear to store that when we're traveling with the doors closed. In our future videos, we'll be going into more depth about the construction and some of the reasons that I did what I did. And I pretty much put the bulk of this thing together from start to our first camping trip that we took it on in a little over 2 weeks. Now, that's not to say that anybody can do that. I've got, like I said, almost 50 years involved in construction. I worked as a contractor for quite a few years. Yeah, in the future, we're going to upload some more videos and discuss this construction in a little more detail. Another thing that we're going to do a video on is a story about our dog who accompanies us on the lion's share of our trips. She, like me, is getting up in years. She's 12 years old now. She's just been a sweetheart ever since. And she's as adventurous as I am. And we go out and backpacking in the mountains, and she wants to take point because she can't wait to see what's over the next hill. And basically, I'm the same way. All right, so this is Honey, who I brought back from the Virgin Islands as a 6-month-old puppy 12 years ago. So she's getting up in years, but she still managed to do 8 miles backpacking with us on the AT last year.
In the canoe. So going forward, a lot of those videos about our adventures we're gonna be putting on here too. Hi, we're Rick and Sharon. Thank you for watching our video. Give us a little thumbs up and be sure to subscribe.